And I would like to introduce Sandra Pacheco. She's a fado singer, and she will welcome everyone by singing the national anthem of the United States in Portugal. Olá, everyone to stand.
Heróis do mar, nobre povo, nação valente e imortal, levantai hoje de novo o esplendor de Portugal. Entre as brumas da memória, ó pátria, sente-se a voz dos teus igrejios avós, que há de guiar-te à vitória. As armas, sobre a terra e sobre o mar. As armas, pela pátria lutar, contra os canhões marchar, marchar. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you very much. Boa noite a todos e bem-vindos à nossa Noite de Candidatos de 2024. Embora preferíssemos que este fórum fosse apresentado simultaneamente em português e inglês, só nos é possível fazê-lo em inglês. A limitação de tempo assim obriga. I am Maria Fernanda Ricardo, and the coordinator of the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara, and I have the honor of serving as the forum moderator along with Taylor Amarant, co-hosting tonight's forum, and Flora Freitas, Elizabeth Gaspar, Erica Tost, Jerry Escobar, and Manuel de Oliveira. Other members of our committee are João Arruda, Diodato Constantino, José de Oliveira, Manuel de Oliveira, Manuel Madruga, and Pedro Ricardo. With us, representing the Portuguese Tribune newspaper, is the director and editor, Miguel Ávila. He is also an excellent photographer. And Nelson Leite, with Palma Media, Portuguese language media company. I'm honored to acknowledge the presence of two distinguished guests. Felipe Ramalheira, the newly appointed Consul General of Portugal in São Francisco, and our city mayor, Lisa Gilmore. For those of you attending for the first time, this committee, with the support of Portuguese-American organizations, began these candidates' night in 1996, and since then we have conducted these forums almost every 2 years. We are appreciative of the service we receive from our city council and other city officials, including the police department. Exercising the greatest right we possess as Americans is casting our votes to elect leaders of our democracy. As expected, the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara is a nonpartisan committee that seeks to encourage informed involvement by our local Portuguese-American community in the election process. Consequently, the committee does not endorse candidates, nor do we take any position on any ballot measures. Our mission is to ensure that the audience receives information objectively and without bias. With grateful appreciation, I would like to introduce the representatives of sponsoring Portuguese-American organizations that make this forum possible. So we have Filomena Avila for S.E.S. Corporation. If you don't mind, we'll give you applause all at the end to save time. And we have Jerry Escobar with Portuguese-American Fraternal of America. We have Lina Soto. She's not here today, but she has Linda Avila, Irmandade Santo Antônio. No, sorry. Rui Rodrigues, representing St. Anthony. We have Erica Tosh, Irmandade Nossa Senhora de Fátima. Luísa Smith, being represented by José Mel de Oliveira for Santa Clara Sporting Club. And we have John Dias for Sociedade Filarmónica União Portuguesa de Santa Clara. We have Ana Gaspar for the Irmandade Familiar do Espírito Santo Santa Clara. We have Cláudia Madruga for Santa Clara's Parish Portuguese Council. And we have Linda Avila for Club Sport Marítimo. Last but not least, we also have the support of Batista Vieira, owner of KSQQ, a Portuguese radio station, and Miguel Avila, director-editor of the Portuguese Tribune, a Portuguese newspaper. It is a pleasure and honor for the Portuguese-American community to have all of you present here today, and with your cooperation, we look forward to an opening and enlightening session this evening. And at this time, I will give the forum format. So this forum will be conducted with the following format. First, we're going to have the Santa Clara Unified School District Board candidates seeking trustee areas 2, 5, and 7. Each candidate for trustee area 2 will be invited to make a 2-minute opening presentation, followed by 3 questions to each of the candidates. The answering time period for each question will be 1 minute. The order of the candidates' responses is randomly determined by a drawing, and we have a table over there ready to do that for us. Candidates for trustee area 5 and 7 are running unopposed, which means they would only have a presentation of no more than 3 minutes, but as I understand, they were not able to attend. So one of them might come in later, and the other one, as I understand, was not able to come. So following this, as time permits, we will have questions from the audience. There are 3x5 cards over there on that table, and you can write your questions, and then you can return the cards to the appropriate box over there. To close, only candidates for trustee area 2 will be invited to make a 2-minute closing statement. For those that have concerns that are not addressed by the candidates during the forum, please take time to introduce yourself and ask those questions during the reception period at the end. And the guidelines are, candidates are to address the audience and respond to questions in English only. And candidates are requested not to rebut to the response of another candidate or to ask another candidate a question. And to begin our forum, allow me to introduce the candidates for Santa Clara Unified School District. And I respectfully request the audience to hold your applause until all candidates are introduced and seated. And to start with, we're going to have Candidate Kati Watanabe. And for Freddie Clare. Freddie Clare. So maybe we're just going to have one candidate for this. He said he would come.
We'll give that microphone a test for us, just to make sure it works.
Test.
All right. Excellent. Good evening. Candidates for Trustee Area 2 will now begin their 2-minute presentation. As mentioned, we do request the audience hold any applause until the conclusion of the question period. So please, Kathy, if you will, your 2-minute opening presentation.
Thank you, Taylor. There's something like being the center of attention, is there? So, to start, thank you to the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara, the SES Hall, and Maria Ricardo for this invitation to participate in this candidates forum. It has been an honor and a privilege to represent the residents of the city of Santa Clara as a council member over the last 8 years. Through this role, I've learned a lot about the city as well as the school district. There are many ways that both entities work together. Why not use what I've learned in a new role as a school board trustee? One of the important roles of a school board trustee is setting policy, which I have had experience with as a council member. One of my goals is to ensure that previous policies adopted by the school board are implemented and followed. Other areas where I feel my experience will be impactful is having had experience advocating on behalf of issues at the state and federal level. It is important to have a good relationship with our local and state leaders to help provide the highest quality education for every student, because students are the future citizens and leaders of our society. And finally, communication. As this is the first election that a trustee will be elected in Trustee Area 2, it is an opportunity to create a plan on how to reach out to residents, families, and students. It is an opportunity to learn and grow for everyone. I look forward to the questions tonight that will focus on Santa Clara Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kathy, and thank you for being here with us this evening. Normally, this is when Freddie would have his 2-minute period, but he is not in attendance, so we're going to move forward to the question asking period. Our first question: what do you see as the most pressing challenge facing the education system and school board in our city right now, and what specific solutions do you propose to address this issue?
Thank you very much for the question, Taylor. I would say one of the most serious concerns is mental health of our students. Especially over the last 4 years, when during the pandemic, there's been a serious impact on our students. I think I heard that 1 in 6 students has some kind of a mental health issue. So I think it's imperative that we look at how we can address the problems, not just as a school board, but also working with the teachers, the parents, and finding out what is the best way to resolve this issue, whether it be health and wellness clinics on site, having experts, psychologists on site that are there on site to remove the stigma of having a child go to visit somebody for help. Having somebody there to address the issues is definitely important. So that is, I would say, one of the most serious issues that we're looking at right now.
Thank you. The next question, excuse me. If elected, how would you ensure that schools are effectively utilizing federal, state, and local funds? How would you maintain transparency and keep the community informed about these financial allocations?
Yeah, very good question, and thank you. Again, I think one of my roles as council member that I feel will be very beneficial is advocating and working at the federal, state, and local levels and having those important relationships. But how we use that use those opportunities as a school board is by working with the teachers. Communication is definitely very important to make sure that that the issues are being addressed, that the budgets that are being allocated are being used properly. By having, having outreach in the community as well, communicating with the residents and letting them know what the school budget focuses on, and having, I wouldn't say an audit per se, but definitely having a review of how each each budget cycle, making sure that that the monies are being allocated appropriately as per policy of the school board. Does somebody have a timer? Because I'm afraid that I'm working out.
Don't worry, we're tracking you.
Oh, okay.
We'll give you back those 10 seconds as well.
I can talk long, so I just want to make sure I'm not going over.
If you see me throw my pen into the sky, we have 10 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, is that, are we good? Okay, excellent. Well,
yes.
We have time tomorrow. The next question is under the topic of school safety. School safety has become a pressing concern for parents, school districts, and law enforcement alike. What specific measures do you propose to enhance school safety, and what policies will you implement and why?
This is okay. Really good questions. Well, one of the issues, or one of the programs that we have worked on, is the Safe Routes to School program, which has been very effective, especially in the elementary schools. So to see those programs continue to develop is especially important in keeping it in elementary schools, especially as children come in, new to the school district. Also, we are looking at new projects, road improvement projects, bikes, lanes, to keep again our students safe as they ride to school. One of the other things that we have looked at and has just come before our city council, and actually it came from the school board there, I think it was last week, was a new program that is similar to DARE, if you're familiar with the DARE program. So the program, as a result of budget cuts, was put up to the side, but we asked the police department to come up with a new program, and they did, and it was recently presented, and it's called BRAVE, which stands for Building Respect, Awareness, and Values Through Education. And it will be an outreach to the 4th grade students, and it is a way to be able to help them focus on responsibility, communication, peer pressure, bullying, and cyber safety. Because nowadays we know how our young people, they like to use their iPhones all the time. And so this is an opportunity to be able to let them find out how to be safe when they're online, and also to help each other and be supportive of each other. So those are just some of the initiatives that I see as being positive, a positive response to the safety issue. Okay, I was watching.
That's your time.
Now it's 3 questions. I'm here all along.
Okay, thank you so much for answering those questions for us, and we appreciate your participation. We now will move to invite you to present a 2-minute closing statement. We'll also be timing you on that.
Well, guess what? The letter said it was only a minute, so I only spoke for a minute.
You saved some time a moment ago with that last question.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, maybe I can throw something extra in there that I didn't get to talk about in the question. questions. So once again, thank you to the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara for hosting this candidates forum. Just something about me and my role previously with the school district. My daughter went to Don Calajan School, and it's so nice to see Ms. Sousa here, who was a former teacher at Don Calajan. But my daughter was actually in the very first kindergarten class when the school opened. And so as a result of that, I got involved in the school district, and I was very engaged with the parent-teacher organization. And one of the things I did as a parent was actually, with some parents, advocate on behalf of reducing the parcel school tax, because the school district is having issues passing a parcel tax. And so I went to Sacramento with some parents because then Senator Joe Siminian was actually, he had a bill, Senate Bill 5, trying to reduce the parcel tax. So that was like my first foray into advocating on behalf of the school district. It was a great experience. And I think we have a wonderful school district, and so based on my past experience, I look forward to having an opportunity to hopefully serve the district again. And it is my desire, if elected, to apply the knowledge garnered as a city council member. I want to help championing policies and initiatives that will ensure that all students receive a quality education. I want to help create new traditions that will keep students excited about learning. I'm proud of my past involvements. I'm proud to have the endorsement of former school superintendent Bobby Plow and former school trustee Elisa Young. I ask for your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
On behalf of the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara Committee and sponsoring Portuguese-American organizations, I extend our sincerest appreciation to all of you for your participation this evening, and I also the insights that you gave us on the school matters. You are all welcome to stay until the end and enjoy the appetizers and talk with the voters. I also would like to invite the audience to join me on giving our candidates a round of applause. So now we will have the candidates for Chief of Police. So this forum will be conducted in the following format. For each first, each candidate will be invited to make a 2-minute opening presentation, followed by 3 questions to each of the candidates. The answering time period for each question will be 1 minute. The order of the candidates' responses is randomly determined by a drawing. Following this, as time permits, we will have questions from the audience. There are 3x5 cards available for you to write your questions. Please come up if you wish to have questions, and then return them to the appropriate box for the questions. To close, each candidate will be invited to make a 2-minute closing statement. For those that have concerns that are not addressed by the candidates during the forum, please take time to introduce yourself and ask those questions during the reception period. The guidelines are: candidates are to address the audience and respond to the questions in English only, and candidates are requested not to rebut to the response of another candidate or to ask another candidate a question. So now let's welcome candidates for Chief of Police, and I respectfully request the audience to hold your applause until both candidates are introduced, which I'm going to introduce Corey Morgan and Mario Brazil. Thank you. And
Corey and Mario, thank you so much for being here this evening. We will now have each candidate for Chief of Police begin with their 2-minute opening presentation, beginning with Corey Morgan.
All right, good evening. Corey Morgan, candidate for Chief of Police. I'm honored to be here today. I can do it. Honored to be here today to ask for your support. Check, is this on? How's that? Is that better? Is it on? Yeah. Okay, good evening. I'll start again. Corey Morgan, candidate for Chief of Police. Absolutely honored to be here tonight to ask for your support. I bring over 2 decades of experience to this election. In 2003, I joined the United States Army, and in the Army I served in 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, Airborne, and I completed 5 combat tours to Afghanistan during that time. In 2007, I joined the Santa Clara Police Department, and I tried my whole career to take on tough, challenging assignments, everything from CSI to SWAT, internal affairs, and I'm an SRT commander. What that experience has given me is a vision for where I want to take the department and where I want to take the city. And that's 3 ways. I want to improve the SCPD team, I want to improve our training infrastructure, and I want to improve our technology department. I have more details at morganforchief.com for full details there. But what that, I think the vision and the experience gave me has been a lot of support in the community. I'm honored to say that I have the endorsement of the Santa Clara Police Officers Association, Santa Clara City Firefighters, Local 1171, Mayor Lisa Gilmore, and the last 30 years of police chiefs have endorsed my campaign. I'm honored to say that I hope to earn their support or earn their trust by taking our department in a great direction. My support, I think, stems from the fact that they know that I have an understanding of our community, our culture, our personnel, and our organization, and I'm ready to lead on day one. I hope to have your support. Thanks.
Thank you, Corey. Mario Brazil.
Good evening, everybody. I think the rule of not speaking any other languages is for me, so I was going to say boa noite. Once again, I'm a San Jose police officer, lieutenant. I've been there for 26 years. I have a wealth of experience there, but more importantly is my lifetime here in city. I've been here for 50 years. I've lived here my entire life. I grew up in 2 houses within walking distance to this hall. My wedding reception was in this hall, and my dad was the Silver Coach for many years during the 90s. I think a lot of you guys remember this. I grew up here. I went to Hayman, Boxer, Santa Clara. My 4 kids are in the same school system. We have 3 over at Santa Clara, 1 at Boxer. Everybody asks me why I'm running, why I'm leaving San Jose. It's because I love this city. This city is very important to me. There's a lot of things I'm very proud of, like Portuguese heritage. Number 1, living in Santa Clara and being a law enforcement officer, and of course my family. It's important to me. I enjoyed a spectacular career in San Jose, including stints as the Internal Affairs Commander in Special Operations, Special Investigations. I ran Spartan Stadium for 5 years. I'm currently the coordinator of security at Santana Row and both Apple stores throughout the city. I have a wealth of experience that I think will be great for the city, and I want to fulfill my lifelong dream of being a Santa Clara police officer and being chief of this city.
Thank you both very much. We will now move on to the Q&A portion. Okay, the first one to answer will be you, Corey. Is the current police budget sufficient to maintain a well-functioning police department? Would you propose any change to the public safety budget?
Yeah, great question. And the short answer is yes, we always want more money to do more, but I'll say this. With our current budget, how it is, we still have unfilled staffing positions. We have fewer police officers now than we did in the 1980s. So that money's there. We just need to fill the spots. It's important. It's a people-driven business. We have to get the right people into the agency. So before I'm going to ask the council and the city manager for more money, I'm going to try to get our department fully staffed and completely full. And with that, I think I would say the money's there for that.
Same question, Mario Brazil.
I echo Corey's thoughts. San Jose, along with Santa Clara and all the law enforcement agencies around here are short on staff. We all know that. Hiring in the area where the cost of living is so much, it's difficult, and recruiting and retention is a major issue. If I do become chief, I would like to, recruit heavily and, have a police department that reflects our diverse community.
Thank you. Question number 2. Mario Brazil, you'll begin with this. Police officers must be equipped to handle sensitive cases like sexual assault, domestic violence, and those involving individuals with mental health issues. Are there any areas where additional training is needed?
As a law enforcement officer, I think the ones that we are never at our peak in training. We train all the time. We train, just to enlighten you guys, yearly training in these topics of domestic violence, sexual assault, mental health. So, are we trained now? Yes. Can we always be better and do better? Of course. I'm a big believer in training. I'd like to see more robust training. Where I'm at, we're continuously doing from the training unit, but also our individual sergeants doing individual training with the officers. I'd like to bring that here also.
Thank you. Corey, same question?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a critical one. In our profession, it starts with bringing the right people in. I mentioned at the outset or earlier that we have fewer cops now than we did in the 1980s. We have to bring people in, and we have to bring the right people in that can handle those sensitive cases. That's a critical thing. It's a people-driven business. For the people that do come, I also mentioned in my opening statement that we have to improve our training infrastructure. We have to create settings to optimize our training environment. The more realistic setting that we can put our cops in during training, the better they'll be able to handle any chaos they face in the street. The better prepared they are, the better results they're going to have when those incidents happen, those critical sensitive incidents. So absolutely, can we have more training? Yes. That's a better setting to train in and have a first-rate police response. Police department and where we're going. So that's one thing. I want to bring back our police blotter. I think was a hazard of some of our staffing issues. But let's get the police blotter back up. I think it's very important for the citizens to know what's happening in the city. So the police blotter is important to bring back. So those are the two things. Share the management meeting notes and increase the police blotter.
Thank you, Mario.
I'm a big believer in transparency. Our community in San Jose, and some of the things I'd like to bring over is our transparency. I would like to see our Santa Clara PD's website being more enhanced, allow the public to see real-time crime data. I echo his thoughts about the crime, the police blotter. That information is important. I get a lot of calls from friends and family I have in Santa Clara asking what's happening in front of their house, and I always tell them, I'm a San Jose police officer. I do not know, but the fact that you can go after the fact to a website maybe a day or two later and see what exactly happened on the street is important to the public. Like he said, the two-way communication, everybody loves to be in the know, and whatever we can do to enhance that is important to the public.
Thank you. Question 4. This is your final question. Mario, we will start with you. What are the most significant factors contributing to crime, and what potential solutions could address these issues?
Contributing factors, of course, is, I would say, substance abuse, the unhoused, of course, mental illness. A lot of that continues takes part in into crime as it happens. I would love to work. We're going to bring in community and county programs, and of course law enforcement to deal with the unhoused, deal with the substance abuse issues. Of course, more patrols, that always increases, helps out with public safety.
Corey?
We've seen 10 years now of Proposition 47 come into play. The numbers are undeniable. Prop 47 unleashed a wave of victimization across our state that's been unprecedented in my lifetime. So we have Prop 36 on the ballot this year. Polling data shows it's going to pass upwards of 70+%. I think that's going to be a huge tool in our belt to corral some of the criminality that we've seen, some of the lawlessness that we've seen as a result of the loosening of our laws, reducing some felonies and misdemeanors. So criminal justice is a circle. Law enforcement is one part of it, but I think Prop 36 will give our district attorney's office a great resource and the ability to tackle some of this crime that we've seen across the state and in Santa Clara.
Mario? Oh, goodness, I'm sorry. I marked the wrong name. Sorry.
If we recorded it, we could replay it.
Fantastic. I apologize. I'm not the candidate here, so no. All right, now it's time for each of you to make a 2-minute closing statements. We will start with Corey.
Yeah, I want to thank Portuguese-American Forum for putting this together. I love the civic engagement. This is part of the process. I'm glad we have an elected chief that has an independent voice that can speak out and be held to account by the people. One thing I want to mention is I've tried to be as transparent and accessible through this campaign as I can, so I have a lot more information on my website, morganforchief.com. I'm on every social media platform, X, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Please find me. I'd love to hear more from you. But overall, I'd just like to close by saying it's been the pride and joy of my lifetime. It's been such an honor to serve in the Santa Clara Police Department, the city I grew up in. I'm proud to be raising my children in this city, and I look forward to the opportunity to serve as the next chief of police. I hope to have your support on November 5th.
On behalf of the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara Committee and sponsoring Portuguese-American.
You wish I would flop them. I said I appreciate a chance to talk. That's I said
I apologize.
I'll echo what Corey said. Thank you for hosting us, of course. It's always great to talk in front of the public, especially when it's my heritage and my people. Let's say obrigado, and thank you in Portuguese. It's a kind of a lifelong dream to, I kind of excluded this earlier. In 1998, when I started at San Jose, I actually tested Santa Clara first. When I was in the academy, they called me and asked me if I would like to go to backgrounds. And back in 1998, you didn't say no to jobs, especially in law enforcement. It was tough to get into. I didn't want to burn a bridge, and I said no. I remember the guy who called me said, "Hey, when you want to come to a real police department, you give us a call back." And I kind of laughed and chuckled. Luckily for me, I had a spectacular career in San Jose. I'm not going to complain. I've been a couple promotions. That city's taken very good care of me and me and my family. But I do want to fulfill a lifelong dream of working here in Santa Clara, serving the public, running a very well-run police department. Thank you to the chiefs that are here that put it in to where it's at nowadays. And I appreciate that. And if I get your support in about 18 days, but who's counting, I would appreciate it. Thank you for the time.
On behalf of the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara Committee and the sponsoring Portuguese-American organizations, I extend our sincerest appreciation to you for your participation this evening and also for valuable insights on our police department matters. You are welcome to stay until the end and to enjoy the appetizers and talk with the voters. I also would like to invite the audience to join me on giving our candidates a round of applause. Well, at this time, we will have the city clerk candidates, and this forum will be conducted in the following formats. First, each candidate will be invited to make a 2-minute opening presentation, followed by 3 questions to each of the candidates. The answering time period for each question will be 1 minute. The order of the candidates' responses is randomly determined by drawing. Following this, as time permits, we will have questions from the audience. We have 3x5 cards available for those that want to write their questions. And to close, each candidate will be invited to make a 2-minute closing statement. For those that have concerns that are not addressed by the candidates during the forum, please take time to introduce yourself and ask those questions during the reception period. The guidelines are, candidates are to address the audience and respond to the questions in English only, and candidates are requested not to rebut the response of another candidate or to ask another candidate a question. So now let's welcome the candidates for city clerk. They will be introduced in the same order as they appear in the Senate ballot. So we have Paul Tachi, Purnima Gopi, she is not able to attend, and we have Steve Kelly and Bob Keith. Welcome. As a sign of appreciation and gratitude for your desire to serve in the Santa Clara Clerk's office and commitment to ensure a better city today and in the future, I invite the audience to join me on giving our candidates a round of applause.
Good evening. Candidates for city clerk are now invited to begin their 2-minute opening presentations, beginning with Paul Tachi.
Check, check. Hey everybody. Good evening, and thank you so much for the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara. It's an honor to be here, and there's some familiar faces and some new faces, and I'm so happy to be here talking to you and enjoying the civic engagement of Santa Clara. You know, it's really important to me that we leave Santa Clara better than we found it, and I'd like to talk a little bit about why I'm here and what my goals are. So, my name is Paul Tachi. It's a pleasure to meet you, if we haven't met. And I would like to start by acknowledging the Portuguese community in Santa Clara. This is a very special community. It's very strong, tight-knit. There's a lot of family values, and there's a lot of shared values. Specifically, we have a lot of things, family events, food. I'm a big lover of food. Going out and meeting together and participating in activities that bring us together instead of push us apart. And these are all values that I bring to my daily life. I'm a business owner, but I'm also a father. I'm also a husband. My beautiful wife, Erin, is here, and she's supporting me, so thank you so much, Erin. I appreciate you. And I have 4 kids. So we talked about the school board earlier. I have kids in 3 different schools. Washington Open Elementary, which we get to enjoy a wonderful event here in the SES Portuguese Hall every single year, which I'm looking forward to. We also have our daughter in Dolores Huerta Middle School, and then a high schooler, freshman in Kathleen McDonald. So I'm a big believer in community. I'm a big believer in values. And when I think about the office of city clerk, I really want to ensure that those values don't get left behind. Specifically, I want to make sure the election process is accessible to everyone, and it's easily accessible to all residents. So thank you for your trust, your engagement, and being a vital part of our community.
Thank you, Paul. Next, we will hear from Steve Kelly.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the members of Portuguese Hall. I've been here a few times. This is the first time as a candidate. I've lived in Santa Clara for 28 years. I have 3 wonderful children here, many happy memories here. I I served on the Santa Clara County Commission for 8+ years. I completed my California Fair Political Practice Ethics training. I've already received training for the Brown Act. I've successfully worked with 3 Santa Clara mayors over my 8 years on the Planning Commission. When I got off, I received a commendation from the full council in October of 2020. Now I want to get back and be your next city clerk. I think the city clerk needs to be impartial, ethical, and balanced. I think I bring those qualities. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Now we will hear from Bob O'Keefe.
Thank you, and first of all, I'd like to thank the Portuguese-American Forum and all the groups that are associated with putting this forum on. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for showing up tonight, too. This is not my first run for office. In fact, I was in this hall in 2018 when I also ran for city clerk. But I can tell you, I've been to a lot of community meetings, a lot of knock and talks, meet and greets. I've never seen a more engaged group or a larger group that comes out for our municipal elections than this group right here. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for continuing doing that. My name is Bob O'Keefe. I was born and raised in Santa Clara. I'm a product of local schools. In fact, 8 years at St. Clair's Grammar School right down the way. I'm retired from the California Highway Patrol, and I reached the rank of lieutenant. There's a lot of lieutenants in the room tonight. I retired after 30 years of service. I oversaw patrol operations, all patrol operations in San Francisco and San Mateo counties. Since retirement, I've been active in the community. I just recently completed an 18-month assignment with the Santa Clara County Civil Grand Jury. I'm a 23-24 grand jury. I'm a past board member of the Old Quad Residents Association, the Neighborhood University Subcommittee. I was appointed to by council members from Santa Clara City Council. I've been a community advocate, mainly for family-friendly neighborhoods. I grew up in Santa Clara. I want to keep this community great for your family and families to come. Over the last few years, the position of city clerk has changed, with the greatest responsibility being that of the elections official. If I'm elected, I will do my duty ethically, morally, with high values and openness for all. Thank you.
Thank you all for being with us. We'll now kick off the Q&A portion. And we will start with candidate number 3. So Steve, what is the most pressing challenge facing the city clerk's office, and how would you address it?
Well, I think you have to commit to taking the training. Currently, our assistant city clerk could use some help. And when I'm elected, I'll commit myself, as I committed myself when I became a planning commissioner, to taking the state-sponsored training. It takes time to learn the fine details of what's expected. So I will commit myself to learning, as I have in the past, and forming the full roles as the next city clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Same question for you, Bob.
Thank you. I think the largest challenge for the city clerk is that it is now, well, always has been an elected position, but as I said, the duties have changed. The primary focus of the city clerk, the elected city clerk, is the elections official. And people ask me, what is that? Well, it is, per the charter, you have charge of all city elections, all the municipal elections, mayor, city council, chief of police, and yes, your own position, city clerk. I would not oversee my own election. But the challenge there is, how does the city clerk interact with the assistant city clerk? I'm telling you right now, our city clerk's office is running great. The assistant city clerk we have It is just fantastic. And I will do those duties and work with the entire council, the city clerk's office, to ensure that this product is brought forward for public service.
Thank you, Bob. And Paul?
I like this microphone better. Yes, so the most pressing, what is the most pressing issue? You guys all hear me? Can I get a hand up? Yeah, great. I mean, free and fair elections, that's the number one thing. And as the city clerk's candidate, we really have to think about free and fair elections. It's so important that everyone's voice is heard. Everyone's vote is counted. And there should be no one that is deciding one vote is more important than the other. And so to answer that question, free and fair elections is the absolute most pressing matter in city clerks, or for the city clerk's office, from now and into the future. And I think Bob said it great. I saw the assistant city clerk's office, really a fantastic operation, but I understand that there hasn't been a lot of support from the existing city clerk. This is not a criticism, this is just what I've heard. And I will make myself available, and I want to make sure that I support that office if I'm given the opportunity to serve.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to our next question, but really quick reminder, when you're passing the microphone, just keep it on the whole time. That way we avoid any issues with the sound. Which candidate will we start with next? Candidate 4. Okay, the question is, what are the 3 most critical responsibilities of the city clerk as outlined by law, and how will you fulfill these duties accurately and effectively? Beginning with you, Bob.
Thank you. The most, did you say 3? Did you say the top 3?
Yes.
Okay. The first one, as we were talking about, is the elections official. That's ensuring that there's safe, democratic elections in our city, as I explained before. Secondly, the city clerk must work by enforcing the certain laws that are on the books, such as the dark money ordinance, campaign finance ordinances, along with the elections official. But it's imperative that the city clerk work with the assistant city clerk to have the full services of the city clerk's office for the citizens of Santa Clara.
Thank you, Bob. Now to Paul, please.
Yeah, so it's kind of a repeating a little bit, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but maintaining the records of the city clerk's office, overseeing the elections, making sure they're free and fair, and also making sure that everyone has access to the information that they need. And, I think Bob said it really well, so I don't think it's worth saying too much more, and I'll give my time to Steve.
All right, well, since we split off the duties between the elected city clerk and the assistant city clerk, the elected city clerk should obviously support the assistant city clerk with compliance to federal, state, and local laws. They should also assist candidates complying with disclosure requirements and explain to candidates that are running for office the deadlines and the forms that they have to complete. As a planning commissioner, I had to complete a Form 700 every year, and these forms can be daunting, so making yourself available, helping the candidates is an important thing that an elected city clerk can and should do.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to question 3, and we will first hear from candidate number 4, Bob. Oh, there's the timer. Okay. Question: how will you increase voter registration and voter participation in municipal elections in the city of Santa Clara?
Thanks for asking that question. I've been walking the neighborhoods in Santa Clara, dropping off my little door hanger and speaking to citizens, and a lot of residents don't understand what our municipal elections are. So you mentioned voter registration and voter awareness. They're 2 different things. Voter registration is to be handled by the registered voters office with with some help from, I would say, the city clerk. But voter awareness, it is a direct responsibility of the city clerk, especially in our municipal elections, the ones that I mentioned before. I will initiate with the council, with the city manager, start a new voter awareness program directed at pre-voters, new voters, and current voters, highlighting our municipal elections, explaining how they do and why they work as they do.
Same question, Steve?
Okay. Well, I would like to go out to our local high schools. I think when kids are finishing up their senior year, they're taking the government class, and that is a great time for a city official to reach out to them, to engage with young people that are going to be voting for the first time, and teach them how to engage with their local official. I'd also like to go out to as many immigrant groups that have just become a voter. Sikh, Hindu, Muslim groups, Jewish groups, any groups that would like me to come out, I'd like to encourage them to engage and become voters. Thank you.
Paul, same question?
Would you mind repeating the question?
Absolutely. How will you increase voter registration and voter participation in municipal elections in the city of Santa Clara?
Thank you. I didn't want to get lost in the question there, but I think for me it's really about meeting voters where they are and making the office accessible for everyone. Now that means something different for each individual in this room, I'm sure. But for some it might be paper, it might be mailers. For some it might be technology, using phones or iPads or things like that to help gain knowledge and information and register. And so I don't have a one-size-fits-all approach. I think it's just important to, like I mentioned, meet the voters where they are, but also utilize technology in a way that helps everyone have access to the information they need to vote.
Thank you. We now invite each of you to make your 2-minute closing statement, and we will begin with Paul.
Great. Okay. So thank you again. This has been an honor to be here, and I'm really excited to see the engagement. I mean, there was barely one parking spot here. The room is filled. I think it's excellent to see this engagement from this community, and I just want to say thank you for having me. So just reiterating, one of the things that I really commit to is transparency, accountability, and innovation. These are things I believe in my daily life, and these are things that I would bring to the city clerk's office if I'm given the opportunity to serve. And so, once again, inclusivity is another part of it, ensuring that the records, services, and elections are accessible and clear for everyone, especially a civically engaged community like the Portuguese-American community. And I really want to help everyone work together to build a government that reflects the values of family, tradition, and service. And these are all values that I really strongly believe in. One thing I didn't mention early on in my opening statement is that I've also been serving in a lot of different capacities to serve the community. I'm a volunteer as a parent at the Washington Open School. I'm also the board president of Friends of Wilson Preschool, just down the road on Benton Street. And I've served for many years there. And I've also been included in the PTSA over at the middle school. So I have a lot of dedication to serve. I love the community. I want to leave Santa Clara better than we found it. And I'm really looking forward to some homemade food on the appetizer table later on. So I'm hoping someone brought it. Thank you very much.
Well done. Steve?
Okay, so I do have a passion. My passion is to reach out to new voters, young voters. It bothered me when I was in the planning commission when we had an empty room and we had big issues in front of us. So I will reach out to groups and bring them in to our local meetings, teach them how to engage their local officials. I'll also bring back city-sponsored campaign debate forums. I was surprised this year we did not have a city-sponsored campaign debate forum, and it was disappointing. I'll also make the commitment to being at the city meetings, to attend staff training. My understanding is our current city clerk at times hasn't been available. I will be. So I look for your support because I feel as a community, working together, we can build a stronger and better community. I humbly ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Bob?
Yeah, thank you. And again, I'd like to thank the Portuguese-American community for hosting this forum, and I'd like to thank my fellow candidates for being available to be this election. I think we need people to run for office in this city. We've had great leaders in the past, and I'd like to continue that on the city clerk's office. As I mentioned earlier, the city clerk's duties have changed with the primary focus being on the city's elections official. I believe that needs to be a nonpartisan, community-oriented position, ensuring democracy in our elections and smooth elections. We get people in office that runs this city. My entire career has been dedicated to public service, and I still wish to serve. I have vast government leadership experience. I will perform my duties professionally, honestly, with high moral and ethical values. And as it was stated before by both candidates, you need a city clerk that's engaged with the city. Currently, I'm retired. I plan on putting a lot of time into this position. I plan on having active office hours. I plan on being open and transparent to the public. People will be able to come in and meet with the city clerk one-on-one at City Hall if I'm elected. I have some information over on the table there. Please take it, because a few minutes is hard to explain for any candidate what they can really do for this city, but I think I've laid it out well, both online and on social media. So take a moment, and I would love to talk to you after this on a one-on-one basis too. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara Committee and sponsoring Portuguese-American organization, I extend our sincere appreciation to all of you for your participation this evening and also valuable insights on our city clerk's office matters. You are welcome to stay until the end and to enjoy the appetizers and talk with the voters. I also would like to invite the audience to join me on giving our candidates a round of applause. I also have another request at this time, and this is a tradition. We form a group with all the candidates and our organization's representatives, and we take a photo. So I would like to ask all the candidates to come to the front and the organization's representatives so we can have a group photo.
Yeah, okay. I'll look
Okay, we're ready? Hold up.
Can we please have everyone attend? Thank you. So this forum will be conducted in the following format. All candidates will be invited to make a 2-minute opening presentation each, followed by 3 questions to each of the candidates. The answering period for each question will be 1 minute. The order of the questions The order of the candidates' responses is randomly determined by a drawing in the table. Following this, as time permits, we will have questions from the audience. We have 3x5 cards for those that would like to write their questions and return them to the appropriate box. To close, each candidate will be invited to make a 2-minute closing statement. For those that have concerns that are not addressed by the candidates during the forum, please take time to introduce yourself and ask those questions during the reception period. The guidelines are, candidates are to address the audience and respond to the questions in English only. Candidates are requested not to rebut to the response of another candidate or to ask another candidate a question. So now I would like to welcome all of you, and I respectfully request the audience to hold your applause until all the candidates are introduced. So we have for District 1, we have Harvey Bhatia and Satish Chandra and Albert Gonzalez. For District 4, we have Teresa O'Neill and Kevin Park. For District 5, we have Jane Sutz and David Kurtz. For District 6, we have George Getz and Anthony Becker and Kelly Cox. As a sign of appreciation and gratitude for your desire to serve Santa Clara as an elected official and your commitment to ensure a better city today and in the future, I invite the audience to join me in giving our candidates a round of applause.
City Council candidates are now invited to begin their 2-minute presentations, beginning with... Oh goodness, I'm sorry, we're going to start left to right, my left. Beginning with District 1 candidate Harvey Bhatia.
Thank you. My voice is very loud. Thank you very much. Obrigado. Hopefully that's right. And hola. My name is Harvey Bhatia, and I have been a resident of this city for almost 20 years. Well, actually, it's much more than 20 years now. I've never lived anywhere this long in my life. And it's become home to me. My parents and I think this is one of the best places there is to live inside the United States. And I want to continue serving. I don't have really a purpose now. At this age, my purpose is just service. I get so much joy out of it. And I've served in many different capacities, and I've been blessed to have a good professional career. I believe my background in professionally as a background, as well as my community organizing, community leadership, really led to a very strong capability. I believe that I am one of the best candidates that can provide qualified leadership to take us to a future that's very different than where we're coming from. We have a lot more complexities than we had before. Our city's growing very quickly, but we need somebody who understands how to critically analyze what's in front of us and be objective to find the right answer. And I believe my qualifications professionally, as well as over 30 years of community organizing, 6 years as a commissioner, being on the Library Foundation, being the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, being on the Sister Cities International Board, and there's quite a few others. But I do this because I love service and I believe this is where I belong. And I'd be honored to have your vote if I am selected. I will do my best to serve, because I'm not here to make this my trophy, but what I think my life's purpose is service above self. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, District 1, Satish Chandra.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Portuguese community, for organizing this great event. This is the first opportunity I have. I'm going to continue this, hopefully. So I came to this country 25 years back, 2000, and I love this community. And I keep reminding to myself what John F. Kennedy said: ask not what country has done for you, ask what you can do for the country. So that inspires me to serve the community. And where I came from, I'm from India, and we have a saying called serving mankind is equal to serving God. So I truly believe in that. So taking those insights in it, and I want passionately serve the community. I'm standing here to say The reason why I'm running for the City Council, I tried to save $500,000. Last year, I was part of the Charter Review Committee, where most of the City Council's members wants to change the charter from elected police chief, elected clerk to appointed police chief. I was the only guy who stood up and said that no, you can't do that because the analysis and the data shows that it is they stand for the democracy of the people, by the people, and for the people, and 72% agreed with me. But $500,000 not wasted. So I am going to be part of the City Council, make sure that we get lessons learned from what has happened. And my pledge to the city is make sure it is a better safety and security is taken care. Stadium being in my district, it is very much imperative that we take good care of the residents. And important thing is I do have important endorsements from police officer associations and firefighters associations. I'm the only candidate. I have that, and I have that privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Candidate Albert Gonzalez, District 1.
So I want to thank the Portuguese Forum for having this. I've been here a few times with my school board as I was running for school board. I would say that as far as my relationships and my connections, my networking that I've accomplished here over the 16 years on the school board has really and will really help me to serve the people of Santa Clara in District 1. I think that that's something that we need to do, have more communication, more transparency, and make sure that we really engage with the different parts of our city and partners within the city to make sure that we can move the city forward. I tell people all the time that this city is really a great city. It's done a lot of great things, and I can just point to some of the things that we've seen, that I've seen on the school board, how great the city has been run in the past. And I think we got to get there again, so make sure that we can provide the services and programs that our citizens here need. So my 16 years on the school board, and I actually have more years on other boards that I've served on, including the Southern Valley Curriculum and Education Board. It's currently serving as the president of the California School Board Association, so I get to travel around the state and look at different districts and see the differences between different cities and different districts throughout the state. I can tell you Santa Clara is a special place, and glad to live here. As a public servant that I've been here for the last 16 years, I would say that always giving back, especially for a city that has really provided for my family and for my boys, is really something that it's something that I feel like I have to give back. And building that leadership here in Santa Clara on the City Council would be something that I look to do here. As far as the California School Board Association, we have a program that's called Masters in Governance. Teaches you how to govern and how to really build the relationship and work within a team, a governance team, to make sure that each and every one of us is working to provide a better place here in Santa Clara. So definitely want to be the District 1 Council member here for you, and looking forward to serve.
Thank you. Candidate for District 4, Teresa O'Neill.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here tonight with the Portuguese-American Forum. So I've lived my whole life here in the Santa Clara community. I've been serving the community since I was in high school. I served through my parish. I was also on the Santa Clara School Board. I was previously on the City Council, and I've served on and chaired a number of regional boards. I've always been very, very proud to say I'm from Santa Clara, and I love Santa Clara, and that's been always at the center of what I try to accomplish and do for this community. But it's been a little more challenging in recent years. The tone of discussion and debate in our community has changed, and that's been driven by a lot of what's happened with our City Council in the past few years. It's gotten very contentious. It seems like the focus has been lost on serving the residents first, putting residents always first and our needs, and making sure that that's what we're focused on. We have millions of dollars even currently being spent by Jed York, which has distorted our election process. We have public members that are intimidated. We have council members talking a lot. We have investigations, grand jury reports, indictments, all those things. So I never thought I would be here running again. I had reoriented my life to serve the community in different ways. But when I went in the past year to talk to people about running for District 4, because I believe that everybody should be challenged in their election, that democracy is better served when everybody has to defend their positions and put themselves before the voters. And I was finding very qualified people who said they would not run because they were intimidated, they were scared by what's been going on in the city, and so I'm offering my candidacy as somebody to come in to work collaboratively, to restore a sense of calm, to restore a council where the people feel like they can come and talk to the people who are there to represent them. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate for District 4, Kevin Park.
Obrigado para me convidar. Very interesante. Sorry. That's very interesting. But my journey in Santa Clara actually started right here in this neighborhood. I think that the people who know that I've spent almost a third of my stay in Santa Clara here. Now I've been here almost 30 years. More than that, I've spent more than half my life in Santa Clara. Santa Clara is a place that I've spent the majority of my life. I've actually been to lots of different places, and this is where I picked to stay. But it wasn't until I bought my house that I realized that I don't really know the city. And when I got involved with, when I bought a house, I got to know my neighbors. I actually like talking to people. I like talking to my neighbors, and I learned about issues in the neighborhood. Everyone says that all politics is local politics, and local politics starts with a neighborhood issue. And that's very true for me. And I never thought I'd be on city council. But I always want to know, why are things happening? Why can't we get improvement? Like, I'm very concerned with how we get things that are better. I'm very, very aware when we don't get good answers, or sometimes we don't get answers at all. And this is what I really want to focus on. I knew that there were a lot of people in my neighborhood. They're very old. They're very elderly. They had children. They couldn't stay for city council meetings. But I told them I can do this all day. So I came and I spoke for them. And that kind of got me into listening to what the people say. And if you see me on council, you'll see we pass budgets. We listen to what the neighbors say. I'm very involved with what the neighbors want. I talk to everyone that comes to see me. And I think that there's a lot of work that we can do. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people. I said, I'm very busy. I've got a daughter, and you should run. And they all said, maybe I will run. 4 years, 8 years, 10 years. But this year, Kevin has speed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Candidate for District 5, S.E.S. Jane.
Hi, I'm S.E.S. Jane. I want to thank the Portuguese community for hosting this forum. Santa Clara is built with immigrants. I've heard that when the Portuguese came here first, they were discriminated against. And now we have Asian hate issues in Santa Clara. Every immigrant community that comes here suffers that kind of discrimination. But each of those communities really enriches our city, which is why I supported the Diwali celebration for Southeast Asians in Santa Clara. The tagline for my campaign is vote experience. I worked in private industry for 25 years. I understand private industry, and I understand government is very different. You have transparency issues, community engagement issues that you don't have in the private sector. So I have the experience. I served 5 years on Planning Commission, where I learned about housing laws and affordable housing. I now serve 4 years on the City Council. I serve on the boards of the VTA, the Capital Quarter Railroad Authority, the NCPA, and I've moved into leadership roles in those organizations. I've also done a lot of trainings in Santa Clara. I did the Citizens Police Academy. I was on the Chief of Police Advisory Committee for a couple of years. I've done CERT trainings. I co-founded the robotics team at Wilcox High School and have been coaching that for 10 years. But my priorities are homelessness and affordable housing, rebuilding our downtown, environmental sustainability, and fiscal responsibility. I started the Homeless Task Force and have pushed for deeper levels of affordable housing. My son lives with us. He can't afford to get his own place, and so we need to build more affordable housing in Santa Clara. We really need to rebuild our downtown so we have a place to go when we want to have a nice night out. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate for District 5, David.
First of all, thank you, Portuguese-American Forum and SES Hall. I've been here a few times for Washington Open auctions, so this is a great place. I've grown up my whole life here in the South Bay. I went to Independence High School, went to Dean's College, went to San Jose State. When I was looking for a home, it was either San Jose or Santa Clara. And when I started driving around and seeing the environment here in the Old Quad, I said, this is where I want to be. This is the quality of life, this is the great people. And that's what I fell in love with this great city that we have now. I've coached Westside Little League, I've coached 4 years at Santa Clara Youth Soccer. I've also volunteered at Washington Open, I think, like Paul has done as well. My son now goes to Bookser, and my little 4-year-old, 4.5, hopefully is at Washington Open next year. I had people ask me last year to run, and I said, oh God, no, I've watched these council meetings, there's no way. And then about 4 months ago, they came up to me again and said, you have to run, there's nobody else that's running against the incumbent. I spoke to my family, I said, yes, I want to see the change. We have a council that doesn't get along, there's no transparency, initiatives, there's no strategic planning. We're missing all those things, and we're kind of a laughing stock, and it shouldn't be. We need to get this council working together and be corporate friendly again, so we get more companies coming in here to get the tax dollars as well to help us as we continue to grow. I want to use my background in sales and marketing, finance, and make sure that when we do contracts, negotiations, it's for the residents first. It's not for a $6 billion NFL team that's trying to take over the city. He bought it once before, spent $15 million. He's trying to do it again. Residents are much smarter now. We need to change. Please vote for me. I always put Santa Clara residents first. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate for District 6, George Garrett.
Well, thank you. Thanks, everybody. You guys hear me? Well, thank you very much. I've lived in the city of Santa Clara for 58 years. The last 20, I've been a volunteer for PAL Soccer, Homestead Little League, Santa Clara Lions Football Club. I've also, when the kids were at school at St. Justin's, I was part of their parent-teacher group. I also coached at St. Justin's and was also the golf chair there for many years, for a couple of years. One of my proudest moments is serving as Parks and Rec Commissioner in Santa Clara. I was happy to be a part of a team that got together and we saw that we had a problem. We didn't have funding coming in to update our parks in Santa Clara. So what we did was we changed and recommended to the City Council that we increase our in lieu of park fees to developers. That was, the City Council approved that, and during my 8 years at Parks and Rec, we got 20 parks either built or updated for the citizens of Santa Clara. That is something that I'm very proud of. Personally, I married my lovely wife here. We have 2 beautiful kids that one finished at Santa Clara University, and our youngest is a senior at Santa Clara University. I hope to bring a positive attitude. I tend to be positive and look forward instead of looking back, and that's what I hope to bring to the council, like I did at Parks and Rec, bringing everybody together and moving on and tackling the issues of the citizens of Santa Clara. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate for District 6, Anthony Becker.
Thank you, everybody, for having us here tonight. I see a lot of familiar faces. I've grown up in this community. In fact, I used to go to the dentist around the corner at Dr. Betancourt's. Quite familiar memories with that, too. I'm running for re-election, and since my election in 2020, by the people of District 6, Santa Clara has entrusted me to shepherd our city through a very difficult time after the pandemic. What was a crisis in our community turned out to become a turning point. With meticulous attention to detail and commitment to Santa Clara excellence, myself and the new City Council created a City Council that worked for the people and elevated their quality of life as our priorities. Before 2020, Santa Clara was at a crossroads with 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future. when the city of Santa Clara was in deep deficits by a prior council that was irresponsible with taxpayers' money. From deficits to dysfunction to constant litigation, Santa Clara needed change. And good change is what Santa Clara got. Over the last 4 years, guided by tradition and love for our city, we have significantly reduced our deficits, ended costly litigation, replenished our reserves, and grew our revenue streams for Measure H. We have put those Santa Clara and quality of life issues first, like investing into our parks, pools, infrastructure, public safety, the downtown precise plan, improved stadium operations, and restoring our library hours. As a lifelong Santa Claran, I have a deep understanding of the fabric of this community. I have experience on the Santa Clara Planning Commission, as well as the Architectural Review and other internal and external city committees. I have a proven track record of accessibility, and your input is always of utmost importance to me. We have a lot of work to do in the future, and that leads with affordable housing, more infrastructure investments, and the development of our downtown. It's been an honor and privilege to serve as your council member for District 6 in this great city of Santa Clara. I respectfully ask for your vote for 4 more years to continue the reforms that have worked and made Santa Clara a better place to work, live, and play.
Candidate for District 6, Kelly Cox.
Aren't you glad we're almost done? So, thank you. I'm Kelly, and I'll tell you for the millionth time and lay on the fodder. It's so great to be with the Portuguese community, and it totally is. I come from Wyoming, and you'll rarely hear me talk about anything without first telling you about Wyoming, but I'll tell you there's something similar between Wyoming and Portugal, and I love being part of a community that has such deep history and resilience and pride. I don't think I understood that coming from Wyoming because we didn't know what Portuguese were there if we hadn't seen them. So when I moved out here, we joined Santa Clara Sporting, and I don't know if Louis is around, but we ended up going, okay, I'm sorry if I'm throwing you under the bus here. We won a championship and got to go to the clubhouse, and he said in his very Portuguese accent, I hope this isn't offensive, we love you at Sporting, but if you leave, and he did that finger to me, we don't want you back. And I said, oh, this is the community we're joining in. So there's something really beautiful about moving to a place, and we were in San Jose for a minute, I was in Sunnyvale, but nothing felt quite like it did in Santa Clara. And it resonated with me coming from a place like Wyoming where you understood, you knew your neighbor, you knew who was down the street, you knew who owned the business. And that's something really unique here. And I think that I'm running because I loved that moving here as a resident. And I really feel we're at a precipice right now that is threatened. And so we are becoming a company town. We have all these outside interests that are suddenly more important than our residents. And I too didn't say that this was my future. I'm deeply embedded in social justice. I want to be an educator. I'm in my master's program for education leadership. I'm the assistant dean at Santa Clara University. This wasn't my path. But if you love where you live, you must stand up and do the right thing for it. That's why I'm here today, and I really look forward to talking with you guys tonight. Cool, thanks.
Thank you. We will now begin the Q&A portion of the City Council, beginning with candidate number 5, Kevin Park. What is the most pressing issue facing our city that you would prioritize if elected?
So it's really hard to pick one, but when we look at how we spend our money, it's really mind-blowing to me that we can't afford to keep an international swim center open, that we have a convention center, that we've got a Triton Museum, that we've got so much infrastructure, that we've lost so many things because we can't find 1% of a $1.3 billion budget to support services, support infrastructure for the city. Everyone says that we're worried about things that happen now, but these infrastructure issues, these spending issues, didn't occur in the last 4 years. I mean, the last 10 years, we went from $60 million worth of infrastructure debt, and it ballooned to almost $600 million by 2020. These are the things that I think we need to look into, because once we can solve those, we will save services for residents, and we can focus that money on other things.
Thank you. Same question for candidate number 2, Satish Chandra. If at any time you need me to repeat the question to you, please ask. No.
Oh, thank you for the question. So the most, I would say, the bothering thing would be the special interest. Specific is 49ers. just want to bring to the attention. So I was so happy 10 years back when they came to our city. I was 14 years and so excited that hey, they came to the city. But over the years, they getting involved in the politics. Like almost in the Santa Clara election, they put $15.5 million, and I read the news of the appeal board, what they did in 2019, the $180 million, which is a huge loss for the Santa Clara schools, for Mission College, for Santa Clara City and other things. And I think this has to be fixed. I think we have a lot of other special interests that don't show so much interest, but these people are dividing us and we have to make them accountable and transparent. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question for S.E.S. J.
Okay, it's on. The most pressing issue, like almost every city in California, is housing prices and lack of affordable housing. We have about 460 unhoused residents in Santa Clara, and when you're living in the creeks, you get PTSD, you get you get addicted to substances, and then you have issues with, as Steve Kelly has experienced, fires in the creeks, you have litter. San Jose is now being sued because unhoused people are littering in the creeks. And you have break-ins in the cars, you have all kinds of issues. So we need to build more affordable housing, because if you can put unhoused people in interim housing, they have to find a way to get permanent housing after they get counseling and such. But we don't have the permanent housing for them. So we have to build more housing.
Thank you. Same question for Teresa O'Neill.
I can list a number of key priorities in this city, but we're not going to be able to effectively address any of them until we reset our city government. We have to get the council being more functional, being fully transparent, working better with staff. I've seen staff be intimidated at meetings. We have to be able to work with the public. I see members of the public be insulted at meetings. Until we correct this culture and get ourselves back on a plane where we are working very effectively together, we have to level set so that we can then start to work collaboratively and in a strategic manner to solve. We have a list of issues, a number of which I don't disagree with any of the issues that have been raised, but we have to do some hard work with the council before that can happen.
Thank you. Same question for George Garrett.
I think the number one issue that I see is modernization of our infrastructure. I have never seen as much fencing or boarded buildings in the city of Santa Clara than we do now. I'm in favor of Measure I because I think it will reset and spend money where it needs to be spent, which is new firehouses that we need for public safety to make sure that we can still send out our fire departments. We need to make sure that we have money for our swim center that needs to be done. But I believe, again, modernization of our roads, our streets, our buildings. With that, you have to have a council that is going towards a goal together. You can't have everybody apart. You need everybody focusing and getting the city back up and running together for one goal.
Thank you. Same question, David Curtis. Stand by. Same question.
My first thing is make sure we create long-term strategic plans for the city. We do a lot of tactical. We don't have 5, 10, 15-year plans like other cities. So we don't understand what the budget is, what revenues are coming in, what city services we need, what do we need for fire, what do we need for police. We want to make sure we have 5, 10, 15 years to keep the quality of life we have. When you just look out 1 year, it's just everybody in this room. When we look out 5, 10, 15, it's my kids' kids. And we have to make sure we're doing that like other cities. Otherwise, we don't know what needs we're going to have, where the revenues come in, what the budget. Are we 128,000 people now? What do we do when we're 150,000? So we really have to start looking at that and putting that together. And with my background in doing this at companies like Honeywell, we should be able to do this. We have to, because that's the future, and we have to make sure we are setting up this city for the future.
Thank you. To remind attendees, the question is, what is the most pressing issue facing our city that you would prioritize if elected? Same question for Anthony Becker.
Yeah, I'd say I have 10 priorities that are on my website. You can go check it out. And I agree with my neighbor George here, is that blight is a very big issue. However, as the only renter and millennial on the city council, affordable housing is being the #1 issue, I think. I go door to door and I hear from parents that tell me, where are my children going to live? They're going to move out of state. I can't see my children or my grandchildren. What am I going to do? The thing is, we have to start building the affordable housing. We got to start building transitional housing, development that's going to actually care about people. I suggest you go take a tour of our creeks. Walk through there. You will see homeless people living in tents, and they actually have jobs. They go to work and they come home. That is not the quality of life of people. Quality of life is having a place where people can live and people can afford, and that's what we're going to do here in Santa Clara, is make a place that everybody is able to afford to live in.
Thank you. Same question for Albert Gonzalez.
All right. So, can you hear me? So as far as, I think I concur with a lot of what's been said, but if we don't have a governance team, like city council is working together to do a lot of these things. I look at the footprint that Santa Clara Unified has and the footprint that the city of Santa Clara has. It's very similar. In Santa Clara Unified, we were able to pass bonds, have the top facilities, that we can have for the opportunities for our students, so we can have the successes in our schools. And the city of Santa Clara should be able to do that as well. But the dysfunction that has existed on the city council, strategic focus that they should have. We should not be reactionary. We should not be looking at how do we fix the swim center now. That should be planned out far and ahead, right? In Santa Clara Unified, we have a 5-year strategic plan that we continually update to make sure that the facilities, that our foresight as far as our teaching staff, we're looking at what we're going to need in the future, and that's something that we need here in the city.
Thank you. Same question, and please just a reminder, I'm not sure if the microphones are being turned on or off, but keep them on, and we'll hopefully do our best here to keep those things operating correctly. All right, question for Kelly Cox.
Wouldn't it be great if we all had some congruency on this? I think that shows you how far apart we are right now, even trying to figure out what the big issues are. But I would say, yes, infrastructure is a big need, modernization, but I will tell you one of the things I've committed to do in my first few months is really meet as many people as I can. And I will tell you, I met with the head of the South Bay Labor Council, and they, with expletives, said, we don't mess with Santa Clara anymore. We're not interested in developing with you anymore. We don't care what your ideas are. Until things get straightened out, we're not interested. And so how great it would be to talk about, yes, our infrastructure, our modernization, strategic planning, but I'll go back to what other people have said. We got to work from the inside out right now. We are a broken system, and I think there is such polarization that has infiltrated the community too. We need to be a community that can get along and can move forward, progress, a common vision, and no longer a common enemy. So help us God.
Thank you. And finally, Harbier Batik.
I think I just need to use my loud voice. Hello? Yeah. Like I said, I got a loud voice.
I gotta tell you, I've been in Ukraine around bombs. That doesn't bother me, but this microphone makes me keep jumping. I apologize. Look, I think you've heard it all. Look, we do have a lot of tactical issues. There's no question about it. Housing is our greatest issue as itself. However, there's a deeper issue, and that issue happens to be trust and objectivity. There's so much being said here today. I don't know who's going to go and do fact-checking of what the real truths are. That's your responsibility. I just believe the times are such that we need to have people that are very thoughtful. But more than that is we need to come back to objective analysis of where we stand today. So it's not personal. We cut away from, oh, that person said this, or you said this to me, or that, that newspaper said this. Come back to objective measurement. And that objective measurement cannot be about me, it has to be about the we. And I think if we focus on solving the problems for the collective, we will be fine. And that's what I'd like to leave you with.
Thank you. And now on to the second of 3 questions. The 49ers owners promised significant economic benefits to our city when they arrived. While the debate continues over whether these benefits outweigh the costs, their increasing involvement in our elections and city government is undeniable. We fear becoming entangled in financial scandals or lawsuits. What is your position on this matter, and how will your presence on the City Council help our city and its residents maximize the positive impact of the stadium while minimizing potential costs? And I know that's a long-winded question, so if you need me to repeat any of that at any time, do ask. And the first one to have a shot at that, Albert Gonzalez.
So we can't hide our heads and say that the Niners have not had an interest or spent money on the elections. I think that we have to make sure that we, as stewards of the public's money, and as we move to move the city forward, that we make decisions based on what's best for the city, not what's best on one entity. There are partners in the stadium, Zatco, but they're not the only partners that we should have, the only partners that we should rely on, right? We have to make sure that we work with all the different partners that we have, the different needs of our residents, to make sure that we move the district forward. It's unfortunate that they spend money, and I can tell you when the Supreme Court came down with the Citizens United case, I was very, very, very disappointed. I think we don't want to see independent expenditure like that, and we do see some of the ramifications of what goes on with that. And I would say that the more that we have grassroots folks who are engaged, transparent, and willing to work with our people, with our residents, I think that's what we need. I think that's what I want to bring to the City Council, and my track record on the Santa Clara Unified School Board does that.
Thank you. Same question for George Guerra.
Thank you. So there are a couple of issues here with the 49ers and the stadium. I think one thing is the stadium is already built, and there's no denying that the stadium is there. I did not make the original deal with the 49ers, but I think we have to talk to them and have an open discussion to see if we can make a better deal than what was originally done. That only comes through talking with them and having negotiations. We should maximize what the 49ers stadium brings back into the city, and make sure that we are getting all the funds that can come to us, so that we can spend it on different issues, different things like crosswalks or other things that can benefit the community. So I would not put my head in the sand. I would continue to talk to see if we can get a better deal from the 49ers.
Thank you. Same question, Kevin Park.
Well, thank you. I think that everyone's talked about the 49ers quite a bit. We know that the 49ers have a lot of independent expenditures in this election and other elections, but I don't think people are talking about the other independent expenditures. I don't think that we're looking at the other money in this race, meaning we've always had money in Santa Clara politics, and that money was always for one side. I've been in a lot of elections, several elections. I've watched several elections. I think you all know me. I'm not going to lie to you, and you can look at this yourself. But prior to the 49ers getting involved, we had development money, we've had POA money, and it's always been for one side. We had a dark money ordinance because for the first time in the history of Santa Clara, we had money that was being spent against the majority candidates. When we look at the business opportunity, 49ers are a business partner, but we've got a larger business partner than even the 49ers, arguably a larger project and related. And the fact that we're not talking about the other money in the elections is a real problem. I think that 49ers actually counter that money, but I would prefer if we had none of it.
Thank you. Same question for Satish Chandra.
Thank you. This is a favorite question. Thank you. So, the 49ers being here, all right, I might say, as I said, 10 years back, I was very happy they are here, but a lot of promises they have, said have not been done or fulfilled. Because of them, we have a divide in our community. They have pushed so much of money. They promised to help the schools and the city, but they haven't delivered yet. So, important thing is change the city council. Have the people who care for the residents, who will be part of your representatives, and that's where the talk begins, and that's where we have to make them accountable and transparent for what they are doing, and we have to make them to take that responsibility in paying back to the city, schools, and residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Same question. Suds Jane.
Yeah, so I was opposed to the stadium from the very beginning. I donated money to the anti-stadium campaign. I knocked on doors. At that time, the 49ers spent $5 million. There were a bunch of people that didn't seem to mind that the 49ers were spending all that money at that time. I did. There was a grand jury report called Outplayed. Outplayed said, 12 years ago, the 49ers outplayed us. They wrote the contracts in their favor. I was not there. When I got elected, I had to pick up this big can of worms and try to make the best of the situation. Before the 49ers came here, as Councilmember Park said, there was a lot of special interest money. That was the POA, the firefighters, and developers. People don't seem to want to talk about that. As I said, when you're trying to renegotiate these contracts, you need to talk to their side. Mayor Gilmore has not spoken to the 49ers in 8 years, since 2016. How do you negotiate?
Thank you. Same question. Arbir Bhatia.
That's a great question. Firstly, if it was in my hands, I would definitely go back and review that contract and change it to ensure that we have more power. Look, at the time that it got signed, I'm not going to blame a single person by itself, but to say they were a little bigger than us and they probably took the opportunity to make a better contract for themselves than us. However, today, their involvement is unfortunately becoming our focus versus solving problems for our residents. The amount of money that they're spending really could be going to provide affordable housing as an example. I mean, there's no question about it. We gotta go back to the objective. My question will be to them, is do you really like to spend like this every time? I mean, isn't it exhausting and expensive? Would you just rather have happy residents and work with the residents and figure out what they really want? So one of the things I would definitely be doing is setting up a task force to ensure that we have real ground-to-ground conversations and to get them to connect with the people.
Thank you. Same question now for Anthony Becker.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs is by Billy Joel called We Didn't Start the Fire. We didn't start the fire. This has been here, and actually there's an individual sitting in this room tonight that invited the 49ers here, that invited the developers here, and this is the reason why we are on the state we are. This is not going away. This is the norm now in Santa Clara, and we got to get used to that. In fact, nobody, as other council members said here tonight, nobody really talks about how the POA, what the POA does. Nobody talks about what Related does. Nobody talks about those things. We only talk about one thing. Why? Why? Because it's to deflect. It's to deflect from what actually is going on also. These are your public safety dollars being used for political purposes. That is a concern that I think every one of you should be having, specifically when our budget is 51.4% of public safety. So again, it's not going away, and until the Supreme Court overturns Citizens United, Santa Clara's going to have to get used to this, just like every other city in the United States.
Thank you. Same question for David Curtis.
I'll try to go quick here. So first of all, I'm a fan. I've had season tickets. They're actually using my money against me to oppose me and support Seth Jane. Again, we keep talking about, who voted for Jay, who didn't vote for Jay. It doesn't matter. We have a 20, 30-year marriage. They're here, guys. We got to do better for the residents and make sure we do contracts negotiations. It is for the residents. December 13th Chronicle article, they cut the property taxes in half. It's costing $2.3 million for the Santa Clara Public Schools. That's $70 million over 30 years. They also only cover $330,000, this council voted on that, $330,000 of $600,000 safety costs. That's $2.7 million it costs us per year, us. And that's $81 million. So over 30 years, it's going to cost us $151 million. We need somebody like myself strong enough to stand up to the Niners in Jed York and say, no, it's the residents first, stop stealing money from us.
Thank you. Same question, Kelly Cox. Sure, if you guys got a moment. The 49ers owners promised significant economic benefits to our city when they arrived. While the debate continues over whether these benefits outweigh the costs, their increasing involvement in our elections and city government is undeniable. We fear becoming entangled in financial scandals or lawsuits. What is your position on this matter, and how will your presence on the council help our city and its residents maximize the positive impact of the stadium while minimizing potential costs?
Okay, I'll calm down a little here. So I'll tell you first, entering into a public position is about taking accountability for what came before you too. And so anybody who would sit on this thing and say it's not my fault, I didn't do it, that is a passive-aggressive and very pathetic stance. We are responsible for correcting egregious acts that came before us, 100% of the time. So, I think one of the things that every resident in this room should do is read the grand jury reports. The sad thing about that is that you'll hear quickly, they're biased, those people are bought off. 2 independent groups wrote about this imbalance that we have. People will say it's false. I don't know if we can't trust a grand jury report. Who do we trust as public citizens? So, what that's going to give you is a historical synopsis that says we have a responsibility here. One of the things we need to do is get an ethics commission. The ethics commission would be in charge of the stadium authority as well as Manco. That is an outside, because we're not doing it on our own, obviously, right here. So we need outside help to do this. We need to do it now.
Thank you. Same question, Teresa O'Neill.
So yeah, when Mr. J started, when we started with the 49ers, the big selling points were in the campaign, and I was probably the only person who wasn't involved publicly. I was the planning commissioner at the time and didn't feel like I should take a position based on my conversations with the city attorney. But as I recall, it was promoted as helping the schools and bringing jobs. And things did not go, we should have known when we found out later that on the first day the stadium opened, that the Niners filed an appeal of their property taxes that we didn't even know was going on for several years. And so that is impacting not just the Santa Clara Unified School District, but the city, Mission Cal, everybody. So we had that issue. I would say that one of the big things is that we've got to have transparency. We have to understand the settlements that have already happened. They've never been adequately explained to the public. And we still don't know what's going to happen with the next Super Bowl, World Cup, and we've mentioned the deficits that we're facing with public safety.
All right, on to our next question. While we support all city programs, we recognize that some have a higher priority than others. If the city faces budget constraints, it will be crucial to prioritize essential services. If elected, which programs or projects do you consider absolutely essential, and which programs would need to be re-evaluated? We'd start with candidate number 3, Albert Gonzalez.
What I would say is that you have to think outside the box, right? You can't always think that you're going to make cuts. I lived through the Great Recession. I was on the school board, and we had pink slips. Not a pretty sight. So we have to think out of the box, find ways to bring more revenue in, not look at what we're going to cut. I think that day may come, or has come in the past, but we definitely have to look at how we can increase revenues. And I think our economic development, ways that we can work with our partners to bring in more money here to the city of Santa Clara is important. I think my experience on the Santa Clara Unified School Board has shown that we have a very, very great school district here in Santa Clara. We benefited from things. And I can tell you one of the repercussions of the removal of the redevelopment agencies really hurt Santa Clara, because Santa Clara did a great job with how they invested those monies. And when that money went away, it definitely hurt the city of Santa Clara. So we need to look at other ways to bring in more money here to Santa Clara and not just look at what we're going to cut. Because I think every program we have is vital.
Thank you. Same question now for S.E.S. Jane.
Yeah, we actually went through this during COVID. We lost sales taxes and TOT taxes, which drove us into a deficit, and we had to cut services. One of the first things that went was parks and rec. We had to let go of all of our non-essential workers there. But we did preserve public safety. Public safety is what people care about the most. I'm very supportive of public. I've done the Citizens Police Academy. I've done the Chiefs Advisory Committee. I've been endorsed by Mike Sellers and Steve Lodge and Pat Kolstad. I'm very in favor of public safety, but that's what we ended up preserving during that time. The other thing is rental assistance is very critical. We can't let people become in the house, and then food assistance. And then finally we did programs to help businesses, keep them from going out of business. So we were successful.
Same question now for Kevin Park.
Yeah, I think that if we're in a deficit, we've got to look at public safety. Public safety is one of the first things that we gave money to, and I know this because I made the motion for that. We were talking about fire engine brownouts. We're going to take an engine offline, but we got money for that. We got money for the police to preserve their budgets as well. And one of the ways that we did that is we took money from ARPA funds. And people don't know what ARPA funding is. ARPA funds were the America Recovery Plan Act, and that was supposed to go to for rent. That was supposed to go for small businesses that were facing problems during COVID. And these are the things that we have to realize. We have to realize that if we don't keep our businesses up, if we don't provide services for people to do things, then just having public safety isn't enough. I mean, people need something to do. Otherwise, you're going to create a public safety problem. And I think that we can work on both sides. We can look at it from the policing side, and we can also look at it from the resident satisfaction side.
Thank you. Same question now for Kelly Cox.
Yeah, so I would first say that I am not versed enough in all of our public programs to tell you what should be on the chopping block first, and that's something that you would need to have a really deep understanding of what our budget is going to. But I do want to address the fact that, we continue to say that public safety would be the first thing that would go. And I don't know if we heard earlier, we are right now significantly understaffed already in our police and fire. Our fire department are looking for ways that they can actively start running ambulances themselves to start making money for our general fund. When we look at what has made Santa Clara great, in the 90s we opted in for premium services, which means if you guys make a call at 2 a.m., you're going to get 3 officers that collectively have 40 years of experience. What we have that's working for us right now is our public safety, and I will fight hard to make sure that in a bad time, that's not the first thing that we want to get rid of, certainly.
Thank you. Next. Satish Chandra.
Yeah, thank you. The first and foremost important thing when you look into these kinds of scenarios, COVID is the best example, right? How do you do the due diligence and the planning for to take care of the top priorities? Public safety might come as a top priority, and the second is what city is affecting as part of coming to the city and giving as part of the paying the expenses. These have to be planned and budgeted in a way that we don't face any kind of uneventual situation like COVID or anything. So that efficient to cover that, make sure that you work with the fast tracking, certain resources like electricity, which we have amazing Silicon Valley Power, where we pay 50% of the cost, and make sure that these are the essential things are available. Thank you.
Same question now for David Curtis.
So first of all, the firefighters actually had to go out and get a grant for 18 firefighters that expires in 2026. So I would not cut any safety or quality of life. I would make sure there's no police cuts. I would keep the city services. I would put a pause on open city positions. One thing we need to do as a council is work on being a corporate-friendly city like Mayor Lisa Gilmore did 16 years ago. So if we bring in more taxes, as I mentioned before, and you have some bad times, you have those rainy days in your back pocket, and you have that extra money to get through. If you're not a corporate-friendly city, and you just go to one $6 billion NFL team, you're not going to have that tax base. You need to go out and find. We have the best services, the safest city, the best city in the South Bay, low electricity costs. So we have everything that a corporation could want. Plus, we just got to get back to being a business-friendly city. That's going to help us. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Teresa O'Neill.
Thank you. So I also would prioritize public safety because that's the first thing that our residents look to. If they don't feel safe, their quality of life goes down. That's when you feel safe in your community, that's where you can rebuild. So back in prior time in the city council, the city council was able to build up $80 million in general fund reserve. That's the money that we used during COVID to keep people in their homes, to keep their utilities on, to keep them with food, all of those things, because we didn't have a public service agency providing that in Santa Clara. We used that money wisely, but we also preserved public safety. Going forward, I would really look at some of our departments have been doing a lot of modernization. We need to continue to look for efficiencies that will help us bring back the business community to grow our tax base so we can have additional services.
Thank you. Same question for Harbir Bhatia.
Thank you. One thing I like to do is be a problem solver. I think that's my greatest strength, and bringing people together. Look, we went through COVID as a great lesson learned. One of the things we all learned was that you have to plan for things. It's called risk mitigation. If we don't have a contingency plan for those situations, then we'll always be at a point where we have to cut taxes or cut people, cut benefits, whatever it is. Unfortunately, the city can't survive that way. Public safety is no question about it. You cannot survive without public safety, but we need to look at public-private partnerships. During that time, I just want to give you a small little example. The library was cut, the hours were cut. I was on the library foundation, so I got the youth together. We did daily storytime readings for 150 days. I'm just giving you that example because those are real solutions that we can all work together for. We need to look to the rest of the world to how they solve problems. Until COVID, we could not even go and have restaurants on the streets. You couldn't have dining on the streets. It was like, oh, it's not allowed. There's no zoning. Why? There's no reason for it. So we have to prepare in advance and look for solutions.
Thank you. Same question for George Garrett.
So I would definitely not cut public safety. I have brothers-in-law who is a CHP officer. I also have another one who's at Mountain View Fire, and another cousin who's at Palo Alto Fire. I know how hard those public sector police and fire work on a daily basis. They keep us safe, they keep us secure. That's what citizens want. They don't want to have cuts in public safety. Additionally, though, we have to find new revenue streams. We have to get new revenue coming in. I do not understand why the downtown project has not been passed. We need to pass that to get new revenue streams. Why is it that we have to go outside Santa Clara to Santana Row or to Campbell, or to have, instead, why don't we build it and get that revenue stream coming in so that we can fund fully our other departments that need to be funded and staffed accurately.
Thank you. Lastly, Anthony Becker.
Yeah, so whenever you make tough decisions, someone's quality of life is going to be affected. And, you know, my biggest thing is, first off, no cuts to public safety, no cuts to essential services. Yes, there is 51.4% of our budget. There's ways to start working on that and evaluating it a little more. But, you know, in the past, you know, one of the biggest things I noticed in the city as a problem is top-heavy salaries. These are salaries that are over $300,000 a year. This is something in the past that former city manager Jennifer Saraceno had courage to take cuts during really hard times. This is something that we see happening again if things like this get really tough again. You know, I agree with my neighbor here, George, about, you know, the downtown thing. Yes, we passed the downtown precise plan. We need to start leasing our land and start building things down there to make some money. We need to increase our revenues and also put a document transfer tax on the next ballot. We need to increase our revenues so we avoid making cuts. It's a hard thing to do, but when it comes to it, it's going to have to be pushing some of the high salaries.
We are now moving on to the question from the audience portion. We've only selected one as it is getting late. Coincidentally, it does have to do with a topic that's been mentioned over the last few moments. The question is, and also everyone will have just 30 seconds to answer because the snacks are getting cold, okay? I'm just kidding. I'm sure some are getting cold as well. Given the current state of our downtown area, what specific plan would you support to revitalize it? How will you ensure the renovation benefits local businesses, attracts new ones, and enhances the quality of life for residents while preserving the character of our community? First up for that one will be, S.E.S. Jane. I'm sorry, I read 4, sorry, but I've already crossed off those names. Sorry, Kevin.
A lot of people talk about the difference between the entertainment district and the downtown, and I don't see why we can't have both. I mean, we can have a historic downtown like they do in Sacramento, like they do in Seattle, like they do in Atlanta, and then we can have an entertainment district where you've got bigger events, you've got things like the stadium, you've got things across from that. But the fact that we've got the Santa Clara station, we've got BART coming in, we've got all these things. We need to get started on a historic downtown that has housing, that has stores, that has everything.
30 seconds means that after 15 seconds you'll get the 15 seconds. It's going to be speed hour here. Okay, next we have a question for Kelly Cox.
Can you repeat it? I'm sorry, I want to answer the question correctly.
Sure. Given the current state of our downtown area, what specific plans would you support to revitalize it? How will you ensure the renovation benefits local businesses, attracts new ones, and enhances the quality of life for residents while preserving the character of our community?
Well, we have a great plan that is ready to go. The precise plan has been approved. The issue now is, do we have a great plan? How do we start momentum? How do we get people ready to develop on that? And again, I think we alluded a little bit to that tonight. We have to have a council that's got a forward vision moving in it. I think that we also need to get the university involved again, because we really have pulled out, I say we with the university in a big way. And we need partnership in downtown to make sure that that's going to occur and be something that's mutually beneficial for our students and our community.
Thank you. Same question now for Anthony Becker.
Yeah, I made the motion for the downtown precise plan. I know that we should have shovels in the ground immediately. I've been a champion for the downtown since I first ran for council in 2016, and I know that there's candidates right now that are running for office that, if they are elected, there will be 3 individuals on the city council that are ineligible to vote on the downtown because of conflicts of interest. The game is you need 4 votes to pass something. So we need to start working on this downtown plan immediately, and you need to re-elect your council members.
Thank you. Same question, Arbir Bhatia.
I can imagine. Okay, so firstly, I'm going to echo what Kevin said. Our downtown is essential because it's the heart of our city. Portuguese have been here, we're with 70% of the population at a certain time. There's so much rich history. It's a draw to our community. It becomes a destination. People come, people spend their dollars. I want to ensure that we empower our small businesses to quickly start up so we can start bringing activity in, which will help fund some of the issues that we're seeing today, which is financially based. But most importantly, we have to understand, if we don't start, we're never going to get there. So start anywhere as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Same question for Albert Gonzalez.
So I concur with a lot of the other candidates as far as, we should get started on this plan that's already been passed. And look at how we can revitalize and basically offer opportunities for our local businesses that are already here. Maybe have some tax cuts, business license. But we could also have another downtown. I know that for District 1 folks, it would be a little bit of a journey to get to the downtown. And we could have, hopefully in the future, have an uptown that was mentioned yesterday by one of my other candidates as far as doing that and having two different areas where you can play.
Same question. S.E.S.
Yeah, so we have passed the downtown precise plan. The issue is interest rates. The downtown community task force had 44 meetings. They had excellent consultants. We adopted a form-based code, so we have objective design standards. And now if the developer wants to come and build, they just have to build. There's no EIR to go through. It's ready to go. The issue really is about the interest rates and getting funding. We also need to resolve the issue of the courthouse.
Same question for George Clara.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get this finally passed and over the finish line. I mean, I think the days of us having to go to Campbell or to Mountain View or to Santana Row, we should put that in the past. We should stay local. We should have our downtown area. And we've got built-in customers from the university. So let's attract things that will get them there to spend money and give us a great quality of life downtown.
Thank you. Same question, David Curtis.
Yeah, so we've ordered the Nexus study to look at the community benefit for heightened development. That's what the developers making sure that comes through. Other thing, if some of us cannot vote, some of us can do a lot of things, which is helping with state grants, timelines, next steps, and incentives for developers. So there's a lot of things we can do if we're not able to, but right now no one knows because the incumbent actually was able to vote on issues. So it would be something we'd have to look into as well. But I do agree with the precise plan. Let's do phase one. Let's do it on the city-owned land to start off.
Same question for Teresa O'Neill.
So we're going to need development partners because the city is not in a position to try to redevelop on its own, and that's just the reality. So what I would do, as Kelly mentioned, I've already, over the years, had discussions with Santa Clara University. There are property owners there that, with the university, perhaps the Swensons, and the city, we could look at something that will be mutually beneficial, something the university needs, like a conference center that can be used for executive education, which will be a revenue stream for them, bring in visitors, bring in hotel guests.
Thank you. Same question, lastly, for Satish Chandra.
Yeah, so downtown is a heart and soul of our city, and definitely I would have it revitalized, but important thing is we have to look at the financial plan. So we haven't seen that. So if I get a chance, I would like to look at the subject matter experts who are, take some of the lessons learned from what we have done with 49ers and then take some of the expertise inputs in trying to plan and execute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now move into the final portion where we'd like to invite each of you to make your 2-minute closing statements, beginning with... Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, we'll start down here at this end with Kelly Cox.
That was a long night. Thanks you guys again. This was fun and I think it's informative. I I hope that you got a better sense of who we all are as individuals and what our priorities are. Again, if I can leave you with the fact that you have all of this responsibility and opportunity to do research on your own and learn about things. And again, it's such a strange time that our city's in when right now we are so polarized that even reports coming out are said, no, it's BS. You can't believe this. You can't believe this. We're two parties. If you vote against this, you're in this court. And we really need to break that up. We really need to get back to, like I said, a common vision, because common enemies don't bind people. But a common path forward does. And so I'll tell you, I have a lot to learn in this. I'm, somebody who didn't see this as my path, but I learned really fast. I plug in and I believe in paying back the people for a city that I love. And so my commitment to you is always going to be honest, to be transparent, to be available. I really, really want to start mobilizing neighborhood associations. We only have 2 neighborhood associations. What I've seen with the South of Forest neighborhood is, despite our dysfunction right now, they have made this community of people that can work around city council issues. They can say, we're going to go to the developer ourselves. We're going to talk to the architects. And they've made these great, great progresses in how they can advocate for their neighborhood without this. And I think that's such a great example that we would take to the streets and say, let's mobilize. Let's get you closer to your government again, so you don't feel like you have this 6 degrees of separation from this dysfunction that's not working for anybody, but take it back in your own hands. And so I don't have to be a subject matter expert. I have to lead you into this, and I have to listen. And that's my plan with you. I just want to advocate on your behalf. So thank you so much for letting me be here. And a part of me wants to apologize for what you saw, but but hey, that's what this is about. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all for having us here tonight. It's been a pleasure. I loved coming here since 2016. You probably saw me back then. I was a lot thinner and a lot more hair. But in the end, I'm glad. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve all of you. This has been a dream since I was a kid. You go ask anybody who acted when I was a kid, they ask, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be on the city council. Why? Because some of the people that are sitting in this room right now were my former heroes. There were people I looked up to, council members that made a difference in the city of Santa Clara. There are countless reasons why to re-elect me, and you can always count on me. I have accessibility, I have the dependability, and I have the equity. And the next 4 years, I want to continue making your priorities my priorities. I want to continue to listen to your voice. And I sit up here tonight with my 2 neighbors here. We all have a different way of seeing things, and I think that whoever wins this seat will do the best job that they can. We all care about this city. We just have different ways of showing it. And I think that's what's great about this city is we can disagree with each other. We can debate each other. And Kelly and George, we may disagree with each other, but we treat each other with respect. That's what needs to be happening on the city council. And that's what we've been trying to do for 4 years. Yes, we get pushed back. But all I gotta say is don't be fooled by reports. Don't be fooled by fake ethics pledges. Think about people who have actually done the work. We can't go back. We can't go back to deficits. We can't go back to lawsuits and litigation. We can't go back to poor management. We have to move forward. And I think re-electing me and a few others on this city council will get us to there. In the next 4 years, we can do great things. But I think if you elect anybody tonight, we all have something in common. We care about this city, we love this city, and we wear this city on our chest, and we are Santa Clara proud.
Thank you all very much for the invite to come and talk to you. I appreciate it greatly. I got into this because I wanted to make sure that we look forward and not in the past, that we come together on the city council, and I hope to bring that. I hope to be a positive force of change so that we can look at issues, debate issues. We may not all agree, but at least we do it respectfully. I've talked about modernization, enhancement, transformation, and common sense. Modernization of our swimming pool, our international swim center, enhancement of our police and fire departments to make sure that they are kept up to speed, transforming our downtown area, which I think we greatly need, And then common sense, making sure that we spend your money wisely. We haven't really talked a lot about Measure I, but I'm very much in favor of Measure I. I hope that you will trust us with that so that we can modernize that city. If we modernize correctly and spend the money wisely, decades from now, people will say that this council met the challenge and that they modernized the city for decades to come. And I hope to be part of that. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So first off, thank you very much for your time tonight. It's much appreciated. Allow us to give us our mission and our values and what we are going to bring to the city. I do agree with a lot of stuff that we're talking about now. The council needs to work together. It's just like in business. It's the same thing. The executive team, the board of directors, you have to work together. You have to respect. If I'm fortunate enough to be elected, I'm going to have to gain trust from some of the other council members. I'm going to have to reach out to the council members and show the city that we all can work together. That's going to be very important. We might not always agree, but we should have good debates. We should respect each other. We should be making fun of city residents that come up and give their information to us. We just have to make sure that we're working for the residents and we're hearing all voices. So we're doing meeting twice a month with community, whether it's at the senior center or at coffee, but we should be open to make sure we listen to everything. Again, honesty, transparency, no more indicted council members. We can't have that in a city. It looks really bad, guys, when we can't get along and get things done. We need to work on priorities together. Again, we might not always agree, but maybe we have 6 priorities. Each district brings one, and we all work on that and make sure those things get done. I heard there was 38 initiatives. If you have 38 initiatives, it's constipation. You're not getting anything done. Okay? So let's get 6 to 10 things that we all agree on at council, and let's make sure those things get done each year and report on that. It's really important. We talk about transparency, is reporting out how things are going. I heard a little bit earlier they talked about the police, making sure there's transparency on our website. Any meetings we have, we should have minutes on that. And so I ask that I get your vote in November and we see a change for this city. Thank you.
Yeah, several people have said that this council is dysfunctional. I'm going to have to disagree with that. Sure, there are people that won't shake my hand or say hi to me, but we've actually gotten things done. We've passed budgets. We've passed every budget. We've reduced deficits. We've replenished some of our reserves that we drew down during COVID, and we unanimously put an infrastructure bond on the ballot. Personally, I've had many accomplishments. I pushed to get a full-time sustainability manager hired. I pushed to get the homeless task force, the station area plan, clubhouse for lawn bowling, a downtown precise plan, and ambitious climate action plan. I have been working hard to build coalitions and relationships, which is why I've been endorsed by South Bay Labor, League of Conservation Voters, UA Local 393, Carpenters Local 405, Baymec, Young Dems, Congressman Will Kana, Senator Josh Becker, Assembly Members Alex Lee, Ash Clara, Mark Berman, Supervisors Susan Ellenberg, Cindy Chavez, Ada Lee, Mayors Matt Mahan, Larry Klein, and fellow council members Raj Chahal, Karen Hardy, and Kevin Park, as well as former Chief of Police Mike Sellers and Steve Lodge. So thank you. I appreciate your consideration in this election.
So thank you very much for inviting us here. I think a lot of people do know me. I'm one of the people that I've never been on a commission. I was part of the General Plan Steering Committee, but nothing after that, and it's very interesting. But I claim that I've been to more city council meetings and more planning commission meetings than anyone on their own time. I've been to so many of them. And I think that regardless of who you vote for, I will continue to do that because, again, I made my stake in this city. I love this city. Look, I want things to go well. I've got a daughter, I've got a wife, and we need this city to be a good city because we're not just going to go up and leave. I also hear about dysfunction on council, and I think that I don't really see the dysfunction on council because we do get things done. I do understand that there is a minority voting bloc on council, and I would think that as the minority voting bloc, you would talk to people more. But it's funny, but it's the minority voting bloc that doesn't talk at all. The other thing that people ask me is, what does it feel like to be on the majority? And I tell people, I'm not actually on the majority. Like, if you actually look, we disagree all the time, but then we come together and we get the budgets passed. It's not, we should be focusing on where we have the problems. We should be looking at how do we get beyond the problems. And despite the narratives that you're hearing, I think we're actually doing that. I mean, the things that I see, that I hear, people are very supportive of what we're doing. People remember what it used to be like, and people have fears of what it could be like again if we don't continue with the changes, with the improvements that we're trying to get done, with these terms. But like I said, my wish is not that you get a specific council member. My wish is that we get the best Santa Clara that we can get. Because I'm not looking for something to be on council. I'm looking for something for my family and other families like mine. And that's a great, vibrant Santa Clara.
Thank you.
Boy, with you.
We've heard a lot tonight about a lot of priorities, and some of them there's a lot of similarity, and there's a lot of call for changing the council and making it ethical and transparent and open and welcoming. I fully agree with that, and then from there, I think we've got to move forward to the financial issues. And then once we get our financial house in order, we can really move on to doing things like creating the kind of communities that we want, thriving communities, higher quality of life, no blight, no people on the streets that are having mental health issues and all that. But we've got to do those things in order. You've got to build on each other. You can't just jump to what we want, the ideal picture in the future, without laying the foundation. And it's got to start with the council. And some of the things that I didn't get a chance to mention about the economics, we really need to build our tax base. We need to figure out how can we make best use of what we've got. For me, that includes having our first real economic development officer. We've never really had one. We've had people have that as part of their title. It hasn't worked very well. Santa Clara's never had a real, honest-to-goodness real estate manager. We have a lot of properties. Most people don't even know. I mean, I would ask people at city staff, like, what all properties do we own? They couldn't even tell me. So, being realistic, get a real estate property manager. Continue to work on our processes. All of those things. We've got to bring in some new ideas once we've got ourselves working together and having open, maybe we all need to have a governance retreat or something like that. Albert referred to the Masters in Governance program. I went through that program also. So there's lots of things that we can do. Once we've done that work, I think we can look forward to building a much happier, healthier, progressive city that's looking to the future.
So I think just listening, and hopefully the crowd understands, and I think every one of us up here really wants what's best for Santa Clara. I think that I always look at the cup half full, and even though there's been times on my school board where you feel like you're coming from different angles, I always believe that people come with a positive heart and try to make positive change. Obviously, I want to thank you for the 4 times that you've elected me to my school board, and it's been a great ride. I think we've done a lot of great things on the school board. As far as I've seen my boys, being born here in Santa Clara, raised here in Santa Clara, and now 2 of them have graduated. One of them graduated from Santa Clara in June, and the other one's going to graduate here in a couple of years, the second year here at Santa Clara University. But what I would say is that what I bring to the table is that ability to look at people and collaborate with people. I have 2 years for a reason. I typically listen much more than I speak, and I think that's something that's important, to have that thoughtful, way of looking at things, and also not only being a good listener, but being an empathetic listener, and understanding where you're at, and what the residents here in Santa Clara need in their lives. And I believe, obviously we all spoke about affordable housing, which is something we need, high quality services, that we need public safety, definitely number 1, but definitely the other services as well. I know that staff throughout the city, as I spoken to them, some of them are a little bit overworked than we should be. So we definitely have to work on things like that, and make sure that we have our senior programs, to make sure that we have the best services for our residents. And the last thing I would say is that as far as the governance, that's something that I think I definitely bring to the table, as far as learning and understanding what it is. Even one person, one change on the city council makes a difference. I'm not running this late. I'm a person endorsed by Santa Clara Democratic Party, but definitely would like
Thank
to
you.
support.
Thank you, Portuguese community, for giving this great opportunity. I really appreciate it. Just I want to reiterate, right, so I came to run part of the city council is only the thought is serve the community and honesty, with honesty, integrity and sincerity. So my thought process has proved when I was part of the charter review committee, I listened to the residents, I heard what they want and 72% agreed with me. And that is what is more important. You have to listen to the residents. Right? So coming to see, I see lack of compassion and empathy within the existing city council because I'm talking as an unbiased person because I've been watching from 3 years. There's a lot of personal attacks and dissessing and demeaning kinds of things that has to be stopped. The reason why you want to choose me is because I am honest. I care for the residents, I care for my future of my kids. I have 2 kids, great kids. I care for them, holistic family. So one thing is, the most important thing is 49ers management has spent over $15 million in Santa Clara elections. JDOC has spent over 1.5 million over the years supporting my opponents, Harvey Bhatia and Albert Gonzalez, which are calling me online radical and extremist and slandering me for whatever that they want. The 49ers owners seems to be trying to buy our city council seats at the expense of Santa Clara residents and our schools. So I always give Santa Clara residents as a top priority and I'm proud to be Santa Clara. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, Javier.
Thank you. I was waiting to see how long we were going to go before we start slandering each other again. Okay. So, guys, at the end of the day, the truth is, I want to ensure that we create a city that everybody can thrive, that we have a brighter future for all. I used to imagine my future, which was just that I was going to have like 20 kids hanging around with me and I'm going to be like a kick-butt CEO and well-educated and all that. Well, I guess God had different plans for me, and my life was about service. So when people ask me how many kids you have, I said I have projects. And that is what I'm all about, is service and creating solutions. That's what I know. I don't know anything else. I just know how to create solutions and problem solve. I've seen some great progress in the last few years. Just remember, marketing is always making you feel like you're inadequate. Unfortunately, there's a lot of marketing going on saying that our city council is inadequate or they're dysfunctional. Just look at the objective results. Look at what's been accomplished. We closed our CBA lawsuit. We got 6 districts. We have gotten rid of overly paid city manager. We are now out of deficit. We went into $54 million deficit in 2020 because we got rid of things that created revenue, and unfortunately we didn't expect the kind of risk that came at us because of COVID. We got to get into better planning. So at the end of the day, my hope is that I can create a city where everybody thrives. Everybody loves to live here. You have your children grow. In my case, my friends' children grow. My parents can, live here until the last of their days. And then I will know that my job was done. Because I'm not here to get a trophy. Sitting on the seat is not the rest of my life. I want to prepare the next, leadership, next pipeline of future leaders where we have so many of us out here excited to debate and say, let's make sure we bring the best people. Somebody said somebody's going to lose. Honestly, none of us are going to lose. If you choose the right people who can produce outcomes, I will still be a winner if you chose somebody else. They will be a winner if you chose me. The point is because we'll do it for the right reasons. I hope we can have your vote. Thank you very much.
Our sincere appreciation to all of you for your participation this evening and also valuable insights on our city's matters. You are welcome to stay and enjoy the appetizers and talk with the voters. I also would like to invite the audience to join me on giving the candidates a round of applause. On behalf of the Portuguese-American Forum of Santa Clara Committee and the following sponsoring organizations for this event, namely SES Corporation, Portuguese-American Fraternal of America, Irmandade Santo Antônio, Irmandade Nossa Senhora de Fátima, Santa Clara Sporting Club, Sociedade Filarmónica União Portuguesa de Santa Clara, Irmandade Familiar do Espírito Santo, St. Clair's Parish Portuguese Council, and Club Sport Marítimo. We extend our sincere appreciation to all candidates for your participation this evening and all your valuable insights on community matters. We wish also to thank KSQQ, the Portuguese Tribune, for their support, and the following people for their assistance: Semi Gaspar, Tina Silveira, Didac Constantino, Sandra Pacheco, Nelson Leite, Miguel Avila. We also grateful to each and every one of you in the audience for your presence. It was all of you that made this candidates' night possible. Everyone is invited to socialize, enjoy hors d'oeuvres and refreshments, and speak with the candidates. Remember, your vote is your voice. Vote on Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you, good night, and may the Holy Spirit bless us all.